Hello there, and welcome to another C++ Basics video. Wait, am I gonna start sounding like Obi-Wan?
Hello there.
Okay, I want to introduce you guys to some coding standards. We're going to be using the C++ style guide that Google created, and we're going to try to follow that the best we can for variable names and kind of the standard in naming things. The reason for this is because Google seems to have made the only most complete coding standard that I could find publicly available. And we want to try to follow something because otherwise everyone's going to be using different variable names and it's going to be hard to understand. My formal education, they pretty much did that where they said, there is no standard, just do whatever you want. And it gets hard when you're working with other, programmers to write code together if everyone's just using different standards. Just keep in mind when you're working on projects with other people or for a company that they might have different standards teaching here. So I will link the guide in the description below. I will also link the W3 Schools link for C++ variables, as we're going to just talk a little bit about ints, doubles, chars, strings, and bools. And they do a good job explaining a little bit more in detail what you need to do with that. But I just wanted to link another resource for you guys to look into other than just my video. Now if we open up Visual Studio, I want to just show you real quick the C and C++ extension. I didn't show this in the last video, but I would go and search in here C, C++ extensions, and install the one by Microsoft on the top. This gives you just a little better look at, it color codes a little bit better, and also it shows, it kind of shows errors a little bit more. Here saying that we're missing a semicolon, it can interpret the code a bit better. Feel free to pause the video and copy this down in your editor so you can follow along and resume when you're ready. So first I want to talk about function declaration. You need to declare your variables at the top of your function. That's kind of the standard. And then once you declare it, you can overwrite those declarations at any time throughout the program. So looking at the variable types, we have int, char, double, string, and bool. Int is just going to be an integer, no decimal points, and char is going to be a single character. Note that it's denoted by single quotes. If you use double quotes in a bunch of characters, that will not work for a char. And then after that we have double, say the cost of a shoe. So we want to have a decimal point, say it costs $19.99. My name, so a string, so a bunch of characters put together is a string. And then we also have bool, which I use a lot for flags or for logic and for turning things on and off. And now I'm going to kind of show you what it looks like when you output the variable, and then if you overwrite it, what that output looks like. Bool is a weird one because false means 0 and true means 1, or pretty much anything that's not a 0. And we can see that if we pull up our Windows terminal. I have a new folder here that I have to go into. So find your folder. Hopefully you followed along in the previous video and you can get there just fine. And then you can see we have our example.cpp. I have a executable already, but that's because I was testing earlier. So what we want to do is we want to do G++ or G, plus. I sometimes call it GPP, so don't be confused by that. But G++ -o main.exe and our example. Compile that and then run our main.exe. So we're looking at the flags. So at first we declared it as true. It outputs it as a 1 because 1 equals true in the computer's mind. And then we declared it as false and it outputted it as 0. So now if we want to do that, say with letter, we'll put our letter in here. And let's change the letter to, I don't know, A. So now if you save that and recompile, so I'm using the up and down arrows in terminal here to just get the previous command. So recompile and run our program. Now you can see we declared with M, we outputted that right away, and then we have a letter down here. So you don't have to assign a value off of declaration exactly. In this case, when we try to compile it, it's going to get mad because it pretty much is, well, okay, it's not going to get mad, but it's undefined at this point. So now if I try to run main, it just has a here. But sometimes what you can do is you can declare it, because say you don't know what it is right away, or say you're grabbing input from a user to write into that spot. You can declare it and then later on actually assign it and compile it this way and run it with main. There you go. So hopefully this helps you kind of get a better understanding for variables and can help you out. So if you like the video, feel free to press that thumbs up button. If you want to get notifications about future videos, please feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Thanks.